I'm Katrina, this is Tare, and this is part 2 of our Finding Food in the Pasture series, I guess. So the first part was the north side of the pasture. We're going to start here, go through here into the hayfield, we're going to do the boundary, and then end up back in the pasture. So hopefully that'll happen today. If not, that'll be part 3. I always like to know what I can find, where I can find it, and the best time to do that for me is now, because the leaves are starting to change color, they're going to be falling. Once those leaves are off the trees are going to be much more difficult to identify, and I'd like to make some plans. I'd also like to see where some trees are where I might try and tap for sugaring. I know there is at least one walnut out here, so that would be cool. And yeah, just making sure I know what trees are what and figuring out where things are, and that will also help me to figure out where I want things to be. So if I plant more trees out here, or if I find similar varieties, maybe something that I didn't know grew here, it can inform some other things. So let's get started. We're going to start here, go to the corner, and that way. Alright, so this is the first clump I come to on this side of the fence, and these blackberries actually still have a lot of blackberries on them. So that's something else I'm looking at, is whether there's still berries on things. There's some seasonalities within this property, I'm feeling, because there is such an elevational difference. It can mean they're they're more ripe in some areas, and then the ripeness will follow in the next area, or maybe 2 months from now or something like that. So I know when I came to visit here, I don't think there was blackberries fruiting yet, but when I moved here, when I went back up here in early August, they were fruiting, and they're still fruiting here. So I want to make sure I know where food is, where I want it. There's also some hackberries, so most of this here is blackberries. There's some hackberry, and then I'll go over to the other side of this clump and tell you what is over there. All right, so here's some blackberries drying right here. There's some that are ready and some that are drying. That is well above the level of my head. There's also this other tree. I'm wondering if this is an ash. I need to re-educate myself on ashes. But there's that, and then there is also one of those little plums in here as well, and lots more blackberry. So when I say this clump is really big, it's really big. These blackberries back here, many others up there, are well above the height of my head. They're actually very sweet, very good. This is a really good one. And it extends all the way this way, all the way that way. I'm seeing there's also some rows in here too, so I'll write that down. Okay, this is the corner of the property. Lots and lots of blackberry. Lots and lots of blackberry. Really big ones. And that's the riparian habitat for the creek. Got some plums. I wonder if that's an ash. That looks like what it is on my property. That one right there. I'm gonna have to look up ash. Alright, so here's looking back from where we came from, and the grass is really tall. We're gonna head that way. I'm on the other end of the corner here, and man, these blackberries, all those berries up there in the tree are blackberries. They're actually part of the blackberries. But I don't know what this tree is here. It looks kind of like a cherry. I don't know why it would be a cherry, but it could be. But I don't know that one. If anybody knows it, let me know. It's kind of looking like a willow too. Not one I know though. Maybe a willow? This is very sad that I'm looking at a tree and I'm deciding between willow and cherry. I'm gonna have to zoom in on this later. Okay, this is right next to the telephone pole, and I see hackberry. Hackberry, hackberry, hackberry. And then further over, more blackberry. Blackberry loves it here. So next clump over, we have a couple more plum trees. There's a lot of plum trees on this property. Looks like we have one more tree before the corner. And turn it around. Going that way. Okay, I was going to show you this. I forgot that the previous owner said there was another pear tree over here, and I see pears. Okay, we'll see how much I missed over there. I totally forgot that was there. I'll show you where it is. That's right there. Forgot all about it. Anyway, this right here, it looks like it might be a real apple. There's also a rose climbing it, and there's oak. So I'm gonna look a little closer, but we're gonna go with oak, rose. It has rose hips, and I think it's an apple, guys. See what you think. That looks like apple leaves to me, and the rose hips go way up there. Here's some lower ones. And these rose hips also have this little fuzzy deal that the ones in the other part of the pasture had. And I think it might be a parasite. I don't know. So I think this is an apple. I can't even reach any of the leaves. I'm gonna put apple question mark. And we'll see what it is later. All right, and then we have the roses on the fence over there. Rose. All right. I am going to go all the way down to the corner. Well, probably not all the way to the corner, just the edge of the hayfield at least. See what's over there, and then come back. Because I'm curious about those pears. I do have to keep track of time. I have plenty of time. Today's Monday, so I gotta be back at my computer by 6 to talk to you guys. All right, let's go find out. So I'm right on the edge of the pasture. Let me turn you around and show you where you are. And I'm finding apples. So either there's an apple tree in here, or somebody carried an apple in here. So, man, I don't really know what this one is either. I think this one might be a plum. No, it's an apple. That's so weird. The leaves on some of these older apples are so weird. So it is an apple. I see apples up in the top now. See if I can even get you close to there. Ouch. So it's not going to be bright enough, but there's apples up there. And there's apples over there. And there's also apples right there. So the apple tree is actually off my property by like that much, but it is over here and dropping apples, so that's a good source of apples. And then I don't know what this one is over here. I really feel like I haven't done trees in a while. It's so quiet. It's so nice out here. So nice. So there are blackberries on the edge. Not really going to go in here too much. I think most of it's native. We do have some apple trees right here. Well, an apple tree and hackberry, maple, and then there's another, it's off the property, but there's another tree over there that I think they might be ashes. I really have to look up ashes. I'll probably have that in the first video before you see this video because I haven't edited it yet. So there's also rose hips back here. Kind of a conglomerate of things in this corner. This corner is a little wetter. There's a blue line that kind of cuts the very tip, and so I got water on this property, which is pretty cool. I really, really like that. And yeah, so I'll go to the other edge of this and show you what's there. There's some teasel, not a whole lot. So here's the blackberry and the dissected blackberry together. So this is a dissected leaf one, and this is the regular one. And they both have berries that, I mean, they taste like blackberries. Yum, yum. Yum, yum. Well, look at that. It's a blackberry flower. It's a flower. Let me repeat that. That was a blackberry flower at the end of September. So, these are the later blackberries, I'm gonna say. We also have hackberry right here. For some reason I thought it was a walnut. I think it's an ash. I think that's what this is too. Is that what you see? This looks very much like a walnut to me. The problem is I don't know my other options in this area. I think that might be a walnut. Looking at this later, it does not really look like a walnut to me. I don't really know what it is though. It does not really look like the same thing as I identified as ashes earlier. So right above me here, there's a bunch of rose hips, and these ones are actually red. So let's pick one. There's also, this is a really big hackberry tree. All right, I might have to do some harvesting this weekend. If you have any tips for like harvesting baskets or things that you can carry when you're not planning on finding something that are sturdy enough to protect the fruit, that would be good. I just ripped off the end of that just to show you that's what the insides look like. The outside is really, if you're gonna eat them fresh, the outside is what you would use. And so far, the ones on this property are good. These have a bunch of seeds in them. It's a fruit. Rose hips is a fruit. It's the fruit of a rose. You can eat any rose hip as far as I know. And it's high in vitamin C. There are particular types of roses that are grown for the rose hips. This is likely a wild variety. Maybe a planted one at some point, but likely wild. And it's nice 'cause I'm finding a bunch of them. and they actually taste good. So that's what it looks like after you've eaten that. And there's, let me squish it. All right, let me bring you in here. I can show you the seeds. So these are the seeds, and that is all inside this. So most people use it for tea. Most people don't just eat it, but there's the seeds. And this is how I plant more. Little catapult there. So, super good to know. I have a source of vitamin C on the property, and not just one source, but several. Well, several of the same source. That makes sense. And so that's always good to know that you have. And I'll probably do some collecting, some harvesting this weekend, which is going to make us a couple weeks behind, which is fine. I'm trying to get ahead of on my video schedules, but I want to encourage you to find what you can eat on your property or in your neighborhood. Even if it's, you know, dandelions, you can eat dandelions. So I'm focusing on the bushes and shrubs right now. I did find some places where there's strawberry plants. Now, strawberry plants in the wild, I should have said this on the last video. Let me straighten you out. Strawberry plants in the wild typically grow on the edge of things or in areas where they get enough light. Wild strawberry berries are harder to come by. So strawberries can grow in more places than they can readily berry, as in bearing fruit. So that's something to consider if you are finding wild strawberries. Does not mean you're going to get fruit. If you do find the fruit, they're super good. They're small and super good. However, strawberry leaf you can use as a tea. You can eat it. The whole plant's edible. So you can eat it. You can use it as a tea. It does have some medicinal qualities that I do not remember what they are right now. But these are things that are good knowledge to have. I know raspberry leaves has a medicinal quality. I'm not sure about blackberry leaves. You could look that up. I don't have raspberries here, as far as I know. I can plant some. Basically, this whole property has shown me that berries are a good choice, and kind of shrubby berries are a good choice. This is what I mean by connecting what I'm seeing with what I'm planning, and actually knowing what you have on a property is important as a part of the planning process. Like, if, let's say, I was planning on planting roses for rose hips, I don't need to. That's a step I can skip, unless I wanted it to be more conveniently located. But I don't need to do that. If I plant apple trees, I know they do really well here. There's one here that doesn't get any water, and the one across the street from the house that doesn't get any extra water. Maybe it gets some because of the water trough's right there. And then the one by the house gets some water, but not a whole lot. And I know that they will do well here. Now, something to consider is just because a tree is large and exists and has fruit does not mean a baby tree will do well. The tree that was planted here years and years and years and years ago has grown into a successful tree. That tree has gone through lots of things in its life, and part of that is a changing climate. So if you're trying to plant something and you're wondering why it's not working or why something keeps dying, you're like, well, that tree's right there. It's the same thing. It should grow. Think about getting that tree through its infancy, right? You have to baby it. It's a baby. It needs protection from the elements. You know, maybe it needs a shade cloth from the sun, or it needs Christmas lights on it in the winter. You know, protect that, baby it through its infancy, through its toddler years, and when it gets old enough, it can fend for itself. So some of those trees you have to think of that way. Some of the trees that are edge trees, so like I'm in USDA planting zone 8B. Now, I don't know how true that is because my land has quite the elevation difference, so I may actually have more than one zone on my property, and I'll have to figure out what that looks like. And so that's one thing. you're gonna have different things do better in different places. So that's just something to think about. Anyway, that was a nice little intermission. I know you guys probably haven't seen very much. I've been walking. So we're gonna head back and go along the edge of the hayfield back into the pasture. And I think as I'm gonna go, there's a bit of pasture over here. The hayfield is the lower part and the pasture is kind of the sloped hillside. So there's a little bit of pasture over there that I'm just gonna get the trees from the road because all the trees are up on the road. And then right on the fence. That tends to be where trees are, is along fence lines. Birds poop them out there, people plant them, use them as fence posts, all sorts of things. So that's what we're doing. And I'm glad I found some rose hips that they taste good. They're not like deliciously like juicy, fruity, yummy, but they're not nasty and they had vitamin C. So that is good. You can add, I feel comfortable adding them into something or just eating one. And so vitamin C and oils. We're gonna go off on a tangent. Maybe I'll make this another video. Insert other video here. Okay, you're gonna go to another video after this. We'll come back. There you go. Welcome back. All right, guys, I just made that video, so it'll be next week when you see that one. So let's head over here and do the rest. All right, so we're gonna follow that fence line and go in the gate right there and then continue around the outside. Seems like every one of these clumps has like everything in it. So blackberry, hackberry, plum, and I think that's another ash tree in the middle there. It's really young. And another rose and hackberry. Yep. That's a big ash tree. Look how big it is. That trunk is so big too. With more plums and blackberry. This looks like it might be a plum. And then this is the pear that I forgot I had. All right. Okay, so it looks like the same kind of pear as what's up by the house. I'm assuming it's probably the same. It's nice and warm and juicy, yummy. It tastes good. It tastes kind of general, like the pear by the house too is just a general pear. It's not like an improved variety that, you know, has been bred and bred and bred. It's good though. The rest of this is soft on the other side. So this is the area that the original homestead was in. So the house where I'm at, the house I'm in is not the first house on the property. I'm gonna go in the shade. We're gonna have this conversation in the shade. Okay, so the original homestead house was right over here by these blackberry bushes. I'll take you over there in a little bit. And That was moved. I don't know what happened to it. It's the only thing, the remnants are the bottom of the chimney, and then it looks like, well, I was told the footings of a garage, so I don't know if it was the garage or the house or whatever, but that was right over here, which is pretty close to the creek. So I'm wondering if it flooded, or I don't know, maybe it burned down, or maybe they just took it down. I don't know. But that's probably why some of these other more mature trees, like the pear tree and this other plum tree, that doesn't look like one of these little cherry plums, I think is an actual like full plum tree that I forgot they told me about. And then behind you guys is more of those cherry plums. And that's probably why it's there, is because it's right by the house. So yeah. All right. This one's not ready yet. I want it to be ready. It's going, well, I don't have an appropriate pocket to put it in. See what I mean? Foraging. I need like a something that I can carry that's not inhibiting my movement, so I can put this in here. I have a big fanny pack. Maybe I should do that. What do you guys think? I know the lighting's horrible. That's the remnants of the old chimney. That's been what I've been told. So that's interesting. This is more remnant elephant garlic. Isn't that fun? And then where this feeder is, this is all cement here. So this is where the garage was, or house, or something. Okay guys, behind me, this clump here is more of the plums, hackberry, and rose hips. And then the more I look at these trees, the more I'm convinced they're ashes. So the ash here, and then this one's definitely the walnut. I was thinking the other one was maybe a walnut. There's different kinds of walnuts, so I really gonna have to look at that one. It might be something else, but I believe this might be an ash and that might be a walnut. I'll show you how huge this is, and it's definitely big enough to tap if I want to try and tap it. So let's show you that. Take the pear out of my pocket. Alright, so that is the ash tree, I think. And this is the walnut. So it's pretty old, pretty big, and oh, I see little teeny tiny walnuts on it. Let me show you. So again, how big is this walnut tree? It is huge. It goes from there all the way to there. Let me show you the walnut. I don't know if this is one that didn't make it or if I'm just super early. Oh, okay, I'm seeing some way up high. I think that one's super early because there's one way up high. The others probably already dropped. Yeah, there is at least a couple right above me. So I'm used to walnuts dropping their walnuts in October, November. They look more developed than what's down here at least, but it looks like there's a couple that are up there. So anyway, we'll see. All right, so this is also a walnut. We have at least 2 walnuts. So this one and then one back there is really big, so yay. Oh, I have a pear in my pocket. So that right there looks like a lilac to me with the little plums. There's one fruit on there still. And I think ash, I need to call these ashes until I understand what they are. All right, guys, we are on the other side of that very large walnut, and there's also an oak here. It's losing its leaves. I do see some acorns up there. I hope you've enjoyed coming with me, discovering what food is in the pasture and hayfield. And there was a lot more than I thought. I knew all the varieties, I believe. I had forgotten about the pear tree. And did not realize how many trees there are out here, and fruits and all of that. So it tells you what I should be planting, what I shouldn't be planting, the types of things that grow here, which is really, really nice to know. And so yeah, this is going to be an awesome adventure. We're going to be harvesting a lot, just wild harvesting what's growing here. Again, nothing out here has been watered. The hayfield does have water rights. However, the people who were here before me for the last 17 years didn't know about them. And I don't think the person who was there the last 10 years before that knew about them either. So, haven't been watered in a while. So, that's what's going on. This is part 2. If you haven't watched part 1, go ahead and go back and watch part 1, which is the northern area. I started that in the evening, so it took a little longer to go through as well, because it's more hilly, and I was talking to a neighbor, so it took longer. So I hope you enjoyed this. Share it with a friend. Give it a like if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. And we will see you on our Monday night chats. We do live chats every Monday night at 6 p.m. In fact, I think I need to go over there because I have 18 minutes to get to you guys. So we are all busy in life. We all can find time to get out into the world and figure out what we can eat. So I encourage you to do that in your neighborhood, on your property, and also if you are finding things, go ahead and ask the person whose house it is at. Ask the person who has it. Say, hey, it looks like you have an overabundance of apples this year. You want to share? Or can I buy some? Or can I trade? Or I'll make you an apple pie if I get a gallon or 5-gallon bucket of apples. So make those kinds of connections and have a wonderful day. So thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day.